Might as well get started, and it's really great to see all of you here, and it's great to be starting off the second annual SALA Urban Design Forum, and this time a joint effort by the School of Architecture and Landscape Architecture and SCARP, the School of Community and Regional Planning. So that's quite a milestone. So I welcome you to this. It'll be 2 days of discussion, and of course you're all wondering what the heck are we going to discuss. So it's my job to try to tell you a little bit about that, and so I have a prepared text and I want your indulgence as I go through it. So welcome to our second annual UBC Masters of Urban Design Forum. This is an auspicious day because it was exactly 40 years ago that Vancouver hosted the first UN Habitat Conference, not far from here, as shown in these slides. A lot has changed since then for all of us. In 1976, cities were struggling to survive. Global warming was only feared by a small few, and the global rural to urban migration had just begun. Now cities are thriving, but with economic inequality more glaring than ever. In 1976, at least, we had a middle class. Now it's a threatened species. In 1976, the average worker could afford to own a home. Now that's a sick joke, at least here. In 1976, the second wave of suburban expansion was extinguishing truck farms on urban peripheries. Now the Metroplex has met its physical limits and the population is rebounding to once abandoned city centers. Older cities like Vancouver are magnets for previously unimaginable personal wealth, while newer cities like Surrey, BC accommodate wave after wave of immigrants of vastly lesser means. Meanwhile, urban metroplexes in what used to be known as the Third World are often double the population of formerly preeminent First World cities like New York and Paris. Hundreds of millions of rural people around the world are being vacuumed into cities, causing metastatic, oh my God, cancerous population growth with no end in sight. What are we to make of these transformations? What role, if any, can urban design play? Here is the problem. Design, the very thing that made Vancouver so livable, may also have made Vancouver the world's best place to invest, and in the process may have also made our city completely unaffordable to those who were born here. Are we as urban designers culpable? And if so, what is to be done? 40 years is indeed a long time. Thus, this 2-day SALA SCARP Urban Design Forum, Reimagining the City, the Impossibility of Design, is an overdue chance for us in this part of the world to reflect on what has happened between what we might even call the dawn of urbanist consciousness, the first UN Habitat Conference, held right here 40 years ago, and this unanticipated place we find ourselves. We in this conference are asking a set of questions, and we do not know the answers. We are asking, how can investment be directed for the good of all? Urban investment, once so scarce, now threatens to displace us. Urban design first helped revive threatened center cities. Does it now simply signal appropriate targets for international capital flow? And if the consequences of displacement of deeply rooted citizens, can it be applauded for that? Is there an urban design of resistance? Is there an urban design of equity in a time of increasing inequality? We are asking, how can urban design enhance democracy? How can the traditions unleashed by the first habitat gathering be adapted to our current age? Can design be a tool for enhancing the commonwealth of our cities through making manifest the aspirations of the community at large? Or will it merely be a tool of capital no matter our pretenses to the contrary? Underlying these questions is a new reality. A new city is emerging unnoticed beyond the shell of the old. As the center city chokes on its own wealth, the surrounding city assumes roles shed by the center, for jobs, for homes, for immigration, for real community, and for citizenship. Perhaps the answer is to take a broader view of the city and the urban region. Perhaps the center has shifted. Perhaps the district occupied by the plutocrats and oligarchs, however much they glitter, don't really matter. The 1% is, by definition, only that, 1%. The rest of us, new arrivals and those who are deeply rooted in the place, are just busy getting by, going to work, school, strolling to the park, gathering for coffee. It could be that urban design has an altered mission now, to make this more modest context more worthy and uplift its less exalted inhabitants. I thank you for coming to this conference, and it's my pleasure to invite Ron Kellett up to welcome you all on behalf of the School of Architecture and Landscape Architecture.